Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Unpopular Truth 88, posted August 12th, 2023. People threw a party for my parents to celebrate my new baby, and I wasn't invited. Plus a 3-year update. I, 24 female, am 9 months pregnant and due any day now, and I just got news that a group of my parents' friends threw a party for them to celebrate the upcoming birth of my first child, their first grandchild. My parents and I have a strained relationship as it is, especially considering my sister, 22 female, and I were at their house 3 days ago, and my sister threatened to kick my stomach in an attempt to injure my baby, and they didn't do anything about it. This is just one example of my parents being awful at actually raising their children and creating a safe environment in their home. I had planned to stay with my parents right after giving birth to get assistance from my mother, 59 female, but have recently, seriously, questioned that decision as I just don't know that we would be safe there if my sister and her dog, that has bitten me before, are there. I've informed my mother that I am unsure of this decision under the recent circumstances, and she has done nothing but throw attitude and imply that I'm overreacting because my sister is her child too, so I must understand that they won't kick her out. After this recent event, I have limited/cut contact with my parents out of frustration in fear of my child's safety. But tonight, my mother texted me a picture and showed a party that her friends threw for her and my father, 59 male, for becoming grandparents, including gifts for them, and nothing for my baby. And I wasn't even invited. Am I wrong to feel like they're stealing my thunder and enjoying undeserved attention, especially how they're terrible parents that refuse to create a safe and loving environment for my new child to be welcomed into? My husband, 26 male, and I are now considering staying with my in-laws immediately after birth because at least we know our son will be safe and cared for there, even though it will absolutely piss off my mother. My mother-in-law is also one who threw me a baby shower and has taken more care of me throughout my pregnancy. I guess I'm wondering, what does Reddit think I should do in this situation regarding my parents and where they think I should stay upon leaving the hospital, where we can get some help as first-time parents? Thanks in advance for the advice. Editor's note, OP has made lots of comments. I am listing the top common questions and responses. Relevant/top comments. Commenter 1. Okay, the party is the least of your concerns. That doesn't even register as anything next to someone in the household threatening to violently assault you and your unborn child. The owners of the household allowing and enabling a threat against a heavily pregnant woman living under their roof. The prospect of an aggressive animal that has already attacked you living in a household with a newborn. The knowledge that your parents are awful at raising children based on your own experience. It sounds like you come from an incredibly toxic household, which may be why you're still even considering living there and can't recognize how much you're underreacting. Your view of normalcy and healthy family dynamics is incredibly skewed. That house is not safe, and you are about to have a newborn. Your child's safety should always be the priority. Pissing off your mother has nothing to do with anything. Do not base decisions that directly affect your child's well-being around other people's feelings. Your most important job after that kid is born is to protect them. That's it. Go live with the person that's shown you support in this pregnancy, has treated you kindly, and who will provide safety, love, and care for your child. OP responds, "Thank you for really putting that into perspective and reaffirming that it's okay to upset my mother in order to protect my baby." Commenter 2. Yeah, screw your mom. Not sure why you're not no contact with her. She sounds awful. OP responds, "Believe it or not, she's the nice one in the family. Brother's currently in rehab, sister is borderline personality disorder who has threatened many times to hurt people, and dad was straight abusive growing up, including leaving us duct taped in our rooms as punishment." Commenter 3. Then why do you even keep in contact with them? I just don't understand how continuing a relationship with your parents after how you were treated would be wise for your child. As a parent, you will come to understand very quickly what true love is. And I promise it will make it absolutely impossible to be around your parents. Because if you truly love your child, how could someone do that to them? Or be married to someone that duct taped their mouth shut? Opie responds, honestly, I like my mother and was hoping one day they would step up/grow up and start treating me correctly, but they're doing what they've always done and enabling my siblings' awful behavior, and I finally had enough. In regards to the duct tape, my mom was working and genuinely didn't know he had done that. My father has been directly accused of doing this in front of my mother, and she has apologized that she didn't stop it, but my father refused to acknowledge any wrongdoing on his part. OP on her sister's BPD. It's completely untreated and she refuses to take her meds. I don't trust her around my baby in general, as she's always been overly aggressive, and I won't speak to her at all anymore unless she gets serious help. Commenter 4. You need to cut these assholes out of your life and the life of your child. They don't get a do-over, baby. Opie responds, I feel like that's exactly what they're looking for. A do-over. My mother already has tried to tell me what to do in regards to my son and setting up his nursery, several ideas being outdated and unsafe. But when I argue, she says she raised us and we all survived, so he'll be fine. Commenter 5. Yeah, cut these people out of your life. Family isn't blood. Family is who you trust and who you love and who loves and cherishes you. Surviving isn't what our parents should want for us. Happiness and thriving is. Pardon my harsh language, but fuck them. They can get a new do-over, baby. Opie responds, thank you for your honesty, and they might get a do-over soon. My sister is unhinged, and since she found out I'm pregnant, has become jealous, and said she's now off birth control. Lord knows if she gets pregnant, her boyfriend isn't sticking around, and my parents will be depended on to help her. They can go fuck up her kid, lol. She'll accomplish that either way, as she doesn't have a motherly bone in her body. Is OP in therapy to deal with the unresolved issues she had with her family? OP responds, I'm in therapy to deal with the shit they put me through growing up. I recognize this stuff now after almost a year of getting help. I guess I was just bothered that they're getting any sort of attention or congratulations over a baby that isn't theirs, and that they aren't willing to protect when it's important. Like, their poor actions don't deserve being rewarded or celebrated considering the circumstances. That being said, I should definitely be focused on giving birth and staying away from them rather than letting a party upset me. It's just annoyed me that they got gifts in a party while my baby got none from their friends, considering how awful they are. Why are OP and her husband staying at a different place rather than at home with the baby? OP responds, neither of us have experience with babies, and there is a possibility of a C-section, which means I won't be able to do a whole lot for like a week afterward. We also have a one-bedroom apartment, so anyone staying in our place won't work unless we want almost 60-year-olds sleeping on a couch. We are also only planning on staying with someone for a really short time anyway. Please don't be so negative when I'm just trying to ask for help. Commenter 6. OP, what made you even consider going to your parents and not your husband's parents in the first place? OP responds, 2 reasons. 1, my mother-in-law got sort of jealous/upset when we got married as I took her youngest baby away from her, and there were some enmeshment issues with her and my husband that have since been dealt with. She used to speak poorly of me to my husband until he sat her down and told her off, and that I was his wife, and he had no intentions of distancing himself from me, so she could either be nice or he would distance himself from her. Since then, she's tried at least to be supportive, especially since finding out about the pregnancy. And 2, I hate feeling like a burden, so when my own mother offered to help, I thought it would be less stressful, and I would be more comfortable with her than asking a woman who used to dislike me for assistance. My mother-in-law has really done a 180 regarding my relationship with her son and does seem so excited about the baby, so I'm definitely warming up to the idea of staying in a safe house where the baby at least will always be loved and looked after. Commenter 7. I think your mom threw herself the party and probably claimed it was an anniversary party to get the gifts, because how would she have that active of petty friends to come up with it so fast? OP responds, their anniversary isn't for another month. I don't know why her friends would do this. I've never heard of a grandparent party before, but they have a sign and everything. Editor's note, adding a tangential prior post for more context to understand OP's response in the update. Husband once again leaving me home with 1-year-old to go out with friends. September 28th, 2024, 13 months later from the original post. My husband's brother, 31, we'll call him Aaron for this story, is in town with his girlfriend, 33 female. And he asked my hubby, 27 male, we'll call him Greg, if he wanted to go to a comedy show in DC. Greg claims he thought it was just going to be him and his brother going, and didn't invite me along. At the time, I figured, fair enough, it's brother bonding time. Come to find out, his brother is bringing his girlfriend of around 6 months and 2 other friends. And I was never offered a ticket. Not sure if that's my husband's fault or his brother's. Anyway, now my Greg expects to leave me at home with our 1-year-old so he can go out with a group of people to drink and see this show, while I'm stuck at home alone with a toddler and 5 months pregnant. Before anyone says anything, no, I wasn't admitted because I'm pregnant. We had dinner out last night and everyone was drinking but me, and it was fine. Is this normal? I truly do not want him to go, or I want to be there. I don't think it's fair that I'm expected to watch our toddler while he goes out to have fun when I never get that opportunity. Greg went out to a concert last month with a different friend group, and I, once again, was left at home with the baby while he got shit-faced with his friends. I feel like I'm left to do all the parenting while he does whatever he wants. I don't think I should have to miss out, and if I don't get to go, then I don't think he should get to either. Would I be the asshole if I don't let him go? Too long didn't read, my husband goes out with his friends occasionally and leaves me at home with our child when I never get the chance to do that. Update, April 11th, 2026. 2 years and 8 months later from the original post. Update from my parents had a grandma shower without me and the baby. I wrote in probably 3 years ago, but a lot has happened since then. I was debating living with either my parents or my in-laws. I was on the fence because I knew my mother would physically help me in any way with the baby without needing to be asked, and because my mother-in-law and I had a rocky relationship at the start. But it has since recovered. One major aspect that pushed me to pick my in-laws was that my younger sister threatened to kick me in the stomach when I was 9 months pregnant with my son. Anyway, here's the update. We are moving to London. I have officially cut ties with my parents in every way, and here's the backstory that led to it all. I moved in with my in-laws, and my beautiful baby boy arrived safely. I did continue to visit my parents for a while with the baby, but after they lied to me about my sister being busy and not coming to join us, she showed up anyway, I withdrew, and would only see my parents if they came to me without my sister. I think my sister has met my son once, maybe twice, and both times it was a forced interaction. When my mother told my sister I was pregnant with my daughter, without my permission, she interrupted a FaceTime between my mother and I and demanded to know why I didn't tell her. I lied about keeping it quiet because I wasn't 12 weeks along yet, and just avoided talking to her. A few months later, I pocket dialed her and she didn't answer. Then she called me like 15 times and asked me about if I had gone into labor and if I needed her. I told her no, and that she wouldn't be coming to the hospital when it happened anyway. She cursed at me, told me I was a bad mother, and that I should give my daughter up for adoption before I ruin her. That's when I cut all contact and blocked her number and all social media, and I haven't seen her in 2 years. My parents continue to push me to have a relationship with her and my drug addict brother, but never succeeded. My brother also moved back into my parents' house after his stint in rehab and brought his new girlfriend with him. This girl has done crazy things like physically fight my mother, who is in her 60s, and chase my brother around with a knife, so safe to say, I'm glad I never bring my babies there. But I was still getting phone calls from both my parents venting about the situation and asking to see the kids. That all being said, I have officially gone no contact with my entire family. They threatened to drop me from their will, they cut my phone service and took my car off their insurance, and demanded I'd sell it since my dad was a co-signer. I agreed to it and haven't spoken to them in over 6 months. I am officially moving to London with my husband and our 2 beautiful children at the end of July, and I couldn't be happier. My in-laws have been a huge help, and my marriage is the healthiest it's ever been. My life has done a full 180, and I feel more at peace without hearing horror stories from my parents or being pressured about the kids or being dragged into fights. We're spending the next few months packing up and planning some goodbye trips to our favorite places here before we go, and I'm so excited for a fresh start. I wanted to thank everyone for their previous advice, even those who spoke unkindly to give me the wake-up call I needed. My kids are safe and happy and healthy, and our lives are moving forward without the negativity, and it's been amazing. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Hey, congratulations, OP. Don't stress flying with your babies. I did it with 3 babies under 3. The youngest 2 had binkies that help with stability with the pressure change, and they slept through most of it. Giving them something to suck on or chew on helps a lot with the air pressure changes. You got this. OP responds, thank you for the helpful advice. Neither of my kids take pacifiers, but I can feed my 1-year-old, and I'm sure I can give my 2-year-old something to eat or chew as well. I'll definitely keep this in mind as we are traveling. Thanks again for the helpful advice and kind words. Commenter 2. This is a great update. I'm so excited for you taking this overseas journey. It sounds amazing. Best of luck. OP responds, thank you. I'm excited too. It'll be great to start fresh in a new environment. My only concerns are an 8-hour flight with a 1 and 2-year-old and the sleep adjustment. Laughing crying emoji. Editor's note. In the update post, OP left several comments that are related to the previous post regarding the situation with her husband. Listing them here for more context. Commenter 3. In one of your older posts, you wrote about your husband leaving you at home alone with your child while you were pregnant often. Then he would come home extremely drunk, not invite you out, and you don't trust him to take care of your children alone for an extended period of time. Since you are moving to London and will be isolated without the support of your mother-in-law and other family members, I hope this equation improved and that you are able to move past it. Please keep focused on open communication and best of luck with your move and the rest of your life. OP responds, it was always expected I stay home with my son because I was pregnant, so it's not like I could drink or would want to be out late anyway. I think my husband believed that because he wasn't carrying the baby and because I was just always watching our son, that his life didn't have to change much after the baby. But after I had my daughter, my husband got 8 weeks of paternity leave, and he had to take care of my son the same way I do every day, and all of a sudden, it's like a switch flipped, and he got way more invested with our son and continues to be like that even after returning to work. He stopped viewing our son as an obligation he had to care of, and started just enjoying being around him, and it's made a world of difference. I even went to my friend's graduation party and was gone all evening, and he got the kids bathed and fed and put to bed at a decent time and even had a leftover dinner plated for me. He has definitely matured and changed his mindset about me and the kids, and everything's going really, really well. Commenter 4. Has your husband stepped up helping with the children? OP responds, thankfully he really has. Commenter 5. Oh, he cares when it's a son but not a daughter. Does he help with both now? OP responds, I had my son first. Honestly, I think what changed things was him getting to know his son instead of seeing him for an hour or two before or after work. I also think he's just not fond of the beginning stages where they can't sit or crawl or talk or play with you. He's been better about my daughter. He's been more invested in helping than when my son was a baby. But for those first few months, he seems to struggle without being able to actually connect with them. I think he has a hard time bonding. He's amazing with our son now, and he's more helpful with my daughter, so he's definitely turned a corner for the better. I get the itch that this may not actually be concluded. Can't really fully explain it, but it's just a feeling. I am happy for OP that they did take the steps to cut their family out because it sounds like they were nothing but bad news, and just extremely selfish all along. I can't even imagine hosting like a party for my child's future newborn and just not even thinking to invite them. I really do hope also that OP's husband is stepping up to the plate more than just, well, what was described. Because it sounds like previously his actions were definitely going to lead to some serious tension down the line, and hopefully he has gotten his shit together and is doing what needs to be done as a father, and will be supportive as much as he needs to be when OP and her husband move to London. Because it would definitely be unfortunate if it was just a temporary change and he reverts back to his old ways and now OP is fully cut off from everything in a new country with a husband who isn't really fully, there, and is now raising 2 kids with kind of a husband babysitter. It is cool he got paternity leave though. That's cool. But I think my biggest recommendation for OP is to continue therapy. So far, they've been making good choices. They cut off extremely toxic and abusive family to allow their children to grow in a healthy and stable environment, and it sounds like the family is becoming more cohesive. I just hope they continue to be in therapy so they can identify future red flags that might pop up, and not just see them as parts of a relationship. Oh, what's this? A feel-good post? Something that's not gonna leave like an angry and bitter taste for the rest of your day, but leave you with happy chemicals? Oh boy, buckle in. This post was collected by Audrey, and their tagline is, "Go headbutt a moose." The original OP is Sci-Fi Squirrel, posted in r/today I fucked up. Posted August 4th, 2022. Today, I fucked up. I thought a cute guy was ghosting me, only to find out I was actually ghosting him. I was at a party 2 weeks ago where I only knew 2 people. When in walks this guy who immediately gave me this really big smile. I thought he was so gorgeous. We ended up talking in the same circle and he introduces himself. We start chatting and quickly find the circle around us has disappeared, and it is just us. He is so smart. His smile is outrageously cute, and I love when he seems laser focused on me instead of one of the many attractive women that have now joined the party and are talking about their cool riot dates. As the night wore on, I found myself talking to various different groups, but each time this guy would appear again, and we'd end up just talking to each other again. Someone who neither of us knew came up and said we made an attractive couple. And I realized somehow in the span of 2 hours, we were already acting like a couple. It wasn't just being sexually attracted to him, I felt so comfortable around him, and he was so attentive to my needs. I told him offhand that I had allergies to the dog at the party. Hours later, when I started sneezing, he immediately knew why and moved us outside. His smile was the thing that immediately caught my attention. But it was the thoughtfulness that made it so at the end of the night, we catch an Uber home together and end up kissing. Before the Uber drops him off, I give him my number. Sunday comes, don't hear from him. Okay, I get it. We both got home at 4 a.m. and I too just wanted to sleep the day away. Monday comes. Silence. Tuesday. Even more silence. I know I've read how it is uncool to text a girl immediately because you want to seem super cool and wanted, but we're both in our mid-30s, and I hoped and realized these mind games are bullshit. If you like someone, text them when you can. Life is too short to be with people half interested in you. Wednesday comes and I'm a mixture of angry and over it and insecure all at the same time. How dare he lead me on like this? Well, I guess I'm glad I only wasted one night on this asshole. Was I not pretty enough? All these thoughts raced through my head and coalesced into me typing his name and workplace into Google to see if I can find him. Turns out he was incredibly easy to find. I was planning on just looking at him because I missed his face, but I accidentally clicked the link that brought me to his LinkedIn page. Yikes. Now he'll know that I stalked him, which made me feel even worse. It probably looked crazy. Well, since I was already on his page, I guess I'd look at where he worked. Maybe he wasn't really interesting, and I'd feel better about him ghosting me. Oh, nope. Turns out he's not only very smart, but also humble, because his resume listed a dozen different cool jobs, impressive schools he's attended, things he's worked on. Great, I probably wasn't impressive enough for him. Not 30 minutes later, he friends me on LinkedIn, but seemed surprised that I was reaching out. He had evidently texted me that night, and again the next day, only to not hear anything back. I had ghosted him. And this is how we found out my fuck-up. When I gave him my number, turns out I was off by a digit. Turns out Tipsy Me isn't so great at typing or proofreading. If I hadn't been a creepy LinkedIn stalker, it could have been months, if ever, before we would have seen each other again. Right now we're laughing about it and setting up our first real date. Wish me luck, Reddit! Too long didn't read, thought a cute guy was ghosting me. Turns out I gave him the wrong number. Fixed my fuck up by using my cyber stalking skills, and now we're going on a date. Relevant and top comments. Commenter 1. I can't believe sliding into someone's LinkedIn DMs actually worked. Commenter 2. This story is straight up wholesome. Hope it works out. If it does, you're going to have an amazing story to tell down the road. Opie responds, thank you so much. I hope it does. He's so cute and so sweet. Thanks for the award. Commenter 3. My wife and I met at a bar. We got to talking and lost track of time and everyone else. Hours went by, and as her friends finally came to drag her away, she wrote her phone number on my hand. My dumbass didn't think to write it down somewhere else, so the next morning when I looked at the palm of my hand, the numbers had smeared enough where I could only make out 4 of the 7 clearly. So I got to dialing. Took me a while, but I finally got her. It took me long enough that she didn't think I was going to call. It all worked out though. We've been together now for 31 years and married for 29. Update 1. August 17th, 2023, 1 year later. Today I fucked up update. A year ago, I gave a guy the wrong number and then stalked him on LinkedIn. A year ago, I met a cute guy at a party, accidentally gave him the wrong number, and then found him again on LinkedIn. The last post stopped at the point where I had now given him my correct phone number. We decided our first date to walk around a park near the city and then grab a drink. I was anxious as soon as the date was set. Besides the normal first date jitters, I also carried the secret that I had posted the story of how I reconnected with him on Reddit. Some 35,000 people had upvoted it. Thousands more had seen it. I needed to tell him about the Reddit post, but I was scared of how he would react. He probably already thought I was weird for looking him up on LinkedIn. I had no idea if he would see me posting our story to Reddit as a breach of his privacy, or attention-seeking, or just plain weird. The day of our date, I waited for him by a park fountain. When I saw him walking towards me, my heart skipped. I got made fun of in my last post for how much I complimented the guy's smile, and I don't even care. Seeing him smile made me immediately happier. It also made me even more worried that I had messed up even the possibility of us becoming a thing by posting our story for the world to see. We walked around the park and sat to talk under a pair of trees. It was a beautiful late summer day. I found myself holding his hand. Slowly, we headed to the nearby bar, and by this time, I was shaking. When I got my drink in my hand, I took a few sips, and the words tumbled out. I thought our reconnection story was funny, so I posted it to Reddit. I had gotten maybe 20 upvotes on anything I had ever posted before this, so I expected much the same. Then I started to get dozens of notifications from hundreds of people commenting on the post. A friend sent me the post because they thought I'd enjoy it. My sister called and asked if I had written it because she recognized my writing style. A newspaper wrote an article about it. The post had taken on a life of its own. Then I showed him the Reddit post. He read it quietly. When he was done, he stood up, came over, and gave me a kiss. With that, I breathed the biggest sigh of relief. I learned he himself uses Reddit and thought the post was sweet. The rest of the date, we read the comments together and laughed about the whole thing. Later that week, he came over to my apartment, and we cooked dinner together and talked more. Our conversation turned to the fact that neither of us liked casually dating multiple people at the same time. We didn't know exactly what this was yet, but we knew we already liked each other. With that, it seemed we were dating. The first few weeks of dating sped by, filled with apple picking, hiking, and many soup dumplings. I learned at late night karaoke that he has a beautiful singing voice, and he learned that I definitely did not, lol. I told a friend later that we were dating, and she asked, yes, but is he your boyfriend? Evidently, in this new world of constant casualness, you could be monogamously dating just for the fun of it, but becoming a boyfriend or girlfriend meant you saw this person as someone really important. In previous relationships, I had felt like I was supposed to wait until the guy said he wanted to be with me, and it would look desperate to say, I love you, before the guy did. This relationship felt different. There was no feeling that he was waiting to text me back to look cooler and more unavailable. There was no avoidance of talk about the future. It just felt like two people that were enjoying learning about each other, which in turn made me feel comfortable being open and honest with him. So, after 6 weeks of dating, but maybe not being my boyfriend, I wrote my feelings down on a card and asked him to be my official boyfriend. And he accepted. The rest of the year has been filled with adventures to foreign places where I proceeded to get us lost. Twice. In a place after dark with no streetlights. Still sorry about that one, babe. And many trips to the grocery store that were thankfully a little less tumultuous. We've danced late into the night at concerts and cuddled in bed watching TV. We just finished Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series. I've fallen asleep on his chest to the sound of the pattering rain. My last thoughts at the brink of sleep was that I have never felt so safe. I've woken up next to him and looked over at his face that looks so young and relaxed in sleep, but the hair that falls over his face already has some gray in it. Seeing it fills me with sadness that our time together on this planet is finite. Over the last year, he has shown in 1,000 small ways that he is not only a great boyfriend, but a thoughtful friend and a caring son. My friends and family love him, and that makes me love him all the more. He always makes me feel heard and seen, and he builds me up in a way that makes me feel like the best version of myself around him. He's brilliant and competent at his job, which is sexy as hell. He's serious enough to have his finances in order, but will still let loose and do silly dance moves with me while we're cooking breakfast. He is very clean, so I have never once felt like I shouldered the burden of housekeeping. I'm actually messier than him and have put a lot of effort into being cleaner out of respect. Not once has he raised his voice, and throughout this whole year, I don't think we've gotten into an argument. This relationship feels healthy and happy and calm. I got a few comments from my last post that looking up someone on LinkedIn when they haven't texted is crazy. Please know that if he had turned me down on LinkedIn, I would have respected this and not contacted him further. It was just within a few hours of meeting this man, he felt inexplicably important in my life. I'm glad I trusted my gut and tried to find him. This last part is to my boyfriend, who wanted to be surprised by what I wrote. Over the last year, you have become my favorite person and my best friend. I am so grateful that I met you, and grateful for each day I get to wake up next to you. I can't wait to see what this next year brings us. I love you very much. Too long didn't read, we're dating. Update 2, September 7th, 2024. 2 years later, an r/engagement ringed. Help me find the ring of my dreams. Hey there, my fiance. Actually already asked the question, but we didn't want to tell others until I have a ring. It's totally my fault since I'm both picky and indecisive, so I'm hoping you'll help me. Wants. 1. White gold. 2. Pave, preferably with mill grain on the edges. 3. Tapered cathedral setting, preferably lower set. 4. Lab oval diamond, around 1.75 carats, excellent cut, and as close to colorless as possible. 5. 1.8 to 2mm band. 6. Prong style, 6 gloss style prongs around the diamond. Does anyone know a jeweler that can help me in the New York City area? Ideally, I'd love my budget to stick around 3.5K, and I'd love to work with a smaller jeweler if possible. I have no idea what any of this means. Commenter 1, definitely check out. That might be a private person and I don't just want to have their name in like a YouTube video. She has such stunning designs and she was such a joy to work with. OP responds, thank you so much, I love her style. Update 3, November 7th, 2024. Posted to r/name nerds. Thoughts on Cassian? My husband and I are expecting a little boy in a few months, and the only name we both seem to like is Cassian. It seems the only meaning it has is Greek for hollow or vein. We just like the way it sounds. We both live in America. I am white and Jewish, and he is Chinese. The boy is destined to lead a rebellion. Commenter 1, I personally love the name, but with it being a main character in Sarah J. Maas's book, a series of Court of Thorns and Roses, I would be worried that people will only associate the name with that. I'm a big fan of the series, so I don't think I could do it. However, it's a real name and has been around longer than the book series. OP responds, I've never heard of the series. It sounds nice though. Commenter 2, I like it. It's the name of the main character in the TV show Andor, which is in the Star Wars universe. That character was in one of the big movies too. He's a great character actually, so the association is not bad. I also like how it sounds, and I like the shortened version for shouting across a playfield. Cass. That's why the boy is destined to lead a rebellion. Commenter 3, I think it's a handsome name. It sounds on trend, but isn't too common, and has nice nicknames. The origin is Roman though, not Greek. OP responds, whoops, sorry, thank you. Editor's note, OP also confirmed in DMs that she married the same guy from her first post, and that her son is now 1. Smiley face. I figured that it would be a nice change of pace to just kind of do something that was a feel-good story, instead of, well, what we normally end up covering. Also, just kind of as like a fun side note / conversation, something I oftentimes have to really think about while recording these videos to make sure my enunciation is at least good enough, is that words travel in the mouth really weird. So like as an example, the word crisp, it travels from the back of your mouth to the front, cleanly. But a word like, let's say, monogamous, I hate that because it travels weird. It moves around in a really weird way where it wants to go out with mono, mon-o, Then ga pulls it back to the back of your throat. So you have forward then back. So managa. Then you have musly. Mus, pulling it back out. But it kind of curves upward because of the mus. Like it wants to go up. And li. 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 It kind of like wants to push out again. So you end up with this weird, like, fucked up 5, like, shape that it makes. Where it's like monogamously. So I end up thinking about words in terms of, like, lines and how they move around in my mouth. So when there's certain, like, kind of combinations of words, like, that end on the same consonant, like if you were to say gaming gleefully, oftentimes when you're speaking, you're going to be removing the final G from gaming. So it'll be gaming gleefully and combining that final consonant there. And sometimes there are combinations where the consonants just don't want to interact properly and the way it moves in the mouth is just fully incompatible. And it can just lead to me trying to record the same line like over and over and over and over and over again. Or sometimes my brain will just automatically rearrange some of the words in the sentence so that way it's easier for me to speak and I don't have to worry about it. I don't know, it's some weird kind of insight for just things that I have to think about every day and I don't really talk about it. And I figured, yeah, fuck it. It'd be interesting just to see what you guys think and also just kind of giving you an insight in my horrible thought process and how my brain, my soupy brain, which is made of soup, works. What kind of soup, I hear you asking? Probably Campbell's chicken noodle. Ooh, or dumpling. Actually, probably potato and dumpling. Oh, that sounds really good right now. Huh. I guess this is the outro. Another day, another video. Crazy. I've been doing this for like pretty much every day for, well, since January 26th, 2025. That's how long I've been able to keep an upload every day streak. So that's been fun. Don't forget to use code Oz at checkout with Gamer Subs, by the way. Did you know they also have something called Gamerade now? It's basically like a Gatorade with creatine in it. No caffeine. I forgot they added that. They sent me a sample for it. It's not bad. They got like 3 flavors right now because it's still a new and growing product. But hey, something new. So use code Oz at checkout for 10% off. Every purchase made supports the channel directly. You get 10% off, I get a cut of the sale. Hey, it's a win-win. But with that being said, I suppose I'll be catching you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's upload. That'll be happening.